The 1998 Le Mans looked as if it would go right the way to the 2 o'clock finish. But what's this? A Toyota in trouble. Limping in with a puncture in the tyre. That departs company with a wheel. More dramas out on the circuit for this Porsche. A spin from 65. Shirl, Arl and Warnock, they'd had a torrid time. The first incident from that particular car, the Root team car. But the 29 machine continuing to lead. Boots and Kelleners and Jeff Lees. Could they taste victory? Well, it's always very dangerous at the Mans. The Nissans continue to run very reliably indeed, but just a tiny bit off the true pace at the front. '32 car goes down the Mulsanne straight again, and well, you can see the worry in the Toyota pits. There's Olivier Griard at the wheel of that Courage, still going strongly, but in fact, it's resignation on their faces. There's a retirement, the 72 Gustave Chiro Hiver car. But the big news was the retirement of the 29 car. It had stopped out on the circuit. It already had 2 new gearbox clusters. And finally, the gearbox, the transmission, had broken. And Porsche, who so often go all the way up Le Mans, were there, lying in first and second places. The 26 car, 1 lap in front of the 25 car, and the race had come to Porsche. But certainly, Toyota could be proud. Their first ever time with the new team at Le Mans. The car had led the race with less than 2 hours to go. It looked as if they were going to win it. They were denied. Just consider the devastation in the pits. There you see, well, and that's one of the engineers. The lady there is one of the senior engineers with the team. De Courtins puts a hand on her shoulder. Oh, just look at that man's face. It said it all. Toyota, a valiant effort. They'll be back, and next year they could be the team to beat. In the sports prototype class, this Ferrari way down the field, but leading the category by a long way. Wayne Taylor, Eric van der Poel at the wheel, and Fermin Velez, the little Spanish driver. They've done a strong job after the early problems. The 53 Viper was well in the lead of GT2, as it had been for the last 12 hours. Justin Bell done a particularly good job. And of course, David Donohue, the son of the late Mark Donohue, one of America's greatest ever drivers. So 2 sons of famous fathers. The Nissan still circulating nose to tail. There you see the Courage. Nissan running reliably, but not quite fast enough. Indeed, almost running side by side there. The 30 car, driven by Nielsen, Lagorce and Crum. But in fact, the 32 car, Hoshino, Aguri Suzuki and Masahiko Kageyama, they'd had a good run and were the best of the Nissans. We go on board there briefly with Aguri Suzuki, yet another ex-Grand Prix driver in this race. So just a few laps to reel off, and then the accolades of victory. And of course, it's never won until that flag drops. Oh, and look at that! Just in the final hour, the Portuguese team Estoril Porsche. The turbocharger exploding there as it went through our camera picture. What a disappointment for them, laying those flames as well. The 2 brothers Montero, together with the French driver Michel Maisonneuve. And that car would attempt to limp back to the pits to see if it could actually finish the race. It was just possible. And a piece of bodywork also on the track there. That looks as if it comes from the private Toyota. The Porsche management there, waiting for those final laps to be reeled off. There's Reinhold Jost, the Nissan flag still fly. And yes, the bodywork missing from the green Nissan. That's the car driven by Takuya Kurosawa, Satoshi Motoyama and Masami Kageyama. Two Kageyama brothers actually racing in this Le Mans 24 Hours, driving different Nissans. Le Grand Pestre, as they call him, at the wheel of the Elf Lafiliere car. This team with mechanics from the Lafiliere French Motor Racing University. Problems, late problems for the 68 car, the Elf Habatha team car, which that team actually won GT2 last year, but limping, Eric Graham, Hervé Poulain and Jean-Luc Marie-Larivière, the drivers. But that is the face of Norbert Singer. I think his face said it all. One lap to go, and it looks as if it's in the bag for Porsche. Yet again, the German manufacturer using all their skill and knowledge of this superb race circuit. They've been trying to win this race with a GT car for a number of years. Big disappointment last year, remember, in the late morning when Bob Wallach, of course, crashed and the other car burst into flames. And so Porsche was still victorious, but with the prototype. Well, this year it was going the way of their new GT1, the car they built for 1998, the first all-carbon fibre Porsche. Alain McNish, Laurent Aiello and Stefan Ortelli, the drivers. A lap behind, Jörg Müller, Uwe Altzen and Bob Wallach. Bob Wallach has tried for so many years to win this race, to be denied yet again. I think it's his third second place. But the man from the Alsace had driven brilliantly. Just see the Momo Ferrari limping towards the line with some last-minute problems, but he'll make it. Meanwhile, Porsche head towards the line for their 16th victory. Their first came in 1970, their third successive victory, and Porsche win the 1998 Le Mans 24 Hours. They'd fought off the challenge of their German rivals BMW and Mercedes-Benz. They'd retired early. They'd fought off the challenge of Japan from Nissan, but also from Toyota. Toyota had led the race, but ultimately it was Porsche who were victorious. Norbert Singer very much the architect of this success. Porsche first, Porsche second, Nissan finishing third, McLaren fourth, a great run for the private car of Steve O'Rourke. Then Nissan in fifth and sixth places. Great reliability from the Nissans. There you see the three cars, traditionally the Le Mans marshals who do such an outstanding job, wave their flags. And in the middle there you see a Scottish flag in GT2 Vipers, the factory Vipers. First and second, the 64 Porsche having problems with the gearbox near the end, so finishing third. But on the rostrum, the superb trophies, the garlands, and of course the cheers, congratulations, champagne and tears. And for little Alain McNish, a particularly sweet moment, the last Scottish driver to win this race for Jaguar, of course, the Earl of Dumfries. Well, Alain McNish actually comes from the town of Dumfries. I think they might make him a lord after this. What a big moment for young Stefan Ortelli as well. And there you see the trio, McNish on the right, Laurent Aiello on the left and Ortelli in the middle of the victorious trio. And Japan could cheer Hoshino, Suzuki and Kageyama, bringing their Nissan to third place. The 1998 Le Mans 24 Hours had certainly lived up to expectations.